The climate situation may be dire, but there is hope to save the planet, and according to Bermuda's Deputy Premier, small Caribbean islands will play a big role in doing so. Our One Caribbean News' Deandra Hamilton reports.
He was right. It can be depressing to watch the reports exposing the horrible environmental happenings on our planet and feel outmatched by the lofty goals set in order to reverse or slow down the effects of climate change. But to Deputy Premier of Bermuda, Walter Robban, one of the key speakers at the Climate Change Summit held in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos on Earth Day, we dare not give up.
Situation as islands, some of which were articulated earlier today.
How? Well, it's what we have naturally, which makes small island states major players in the race to save the planet.
Most important habitats, from the Antarctic to the Caribbean to the Pacific to the Indian Ocean. We're everywhere. And we are custodians of important areas.
Deputy Premier Robban, who led the UK Overseas Territories delegation to COP26 in Glasgow last year, gave a first step to effecting change.
Go through and have an exhaustive process of assessing the risks that is around your situation when it comes to climate change. And start that process. Because once you know the risks, you can prioritize them. Some of them are more immediate, some of them may not be foreseeable until 20, 30 years or further down the line. So as governments that have limited fiscal resources, we can prioritize what we're going to deal with early on, the next 5, 10, 20, stretching out.
Bermuda is a front-runner and proof that financial help can be had for the vulnerability assessment, which will also factor in food security, which he said is human security.
Idea that I think I can bring here that may be helpful to you. Because Bermuda has secured funding from the UK government to enter into an exhaustive climate study.
Deandra Hamilton reporting.
In the meantime, the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated has signed a memorandum of understanding with Royal Caribbean International to recruit locals for various posts on the company's cruise ships. Minister of Tourism and International Transport, Senator Lisa Cummins, who signed with President and CEO of Royal Caribbean International, Michael Bailey, said it was the accumulation of 2 years of discussions. BTMI Chairman Shelley Williams said Barbadians are expected to get jobs in a wide range of positions, not only in traditional hospitality spots.
When I looked at the list of jobs that will be available to our Barbadians, we're talking about from engineering to carpenters to plumbers to electricians, to seamen and people in sports, youth. There's a cross-section. That is the largest cross-section I have ever seen, and I'm so excited to be on board. And I think you are now going to lead the way for other discussions from other cruise lines for us to have this kind of relationship.
And while they could not say exactly how many Barbadians would get jobs with Royal Caribbean, the CEO said it would be a fairly significant number of the approximately 16,000 to 20,000 positions that have to be filled annually. And those Barbadians who are selected will start work within a matter of months.
Normally, once we've gone through the recruiting process, which I think we're trying to coordinate a final date for the recruitment fair, if it's in, say, 6 to 8 weeks' time, then typically when we hire people, we from the point of being recruited, it usually takes anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks before they're then assigned to their ship. And so, it's probably, let me think, it's probably about 4 or 5 months before we start seeing the new crew from Barbados arriving on our ships. As a ballpark, it could be sooner, obviously.
Now, Bailey also used the opportunity to thank Barbados for assisting Royal Caribbean with getting around 20,000 crew members back to their homelands at the height of the pandemic. In the meantime, prices for everything are on the rise, including vacations. That has many people searching now for cheaper travel alternatives. Michael George reports.
Lavina Perry is taking her first vacation since the pandemic started. She brought her grandchild from North Carolina to see the sights in New York City.
Feels good to get out and walk and be around people.
But what doesn't feel good is the price tag for the flights to the hotel rooms.
How do you feel about the higher cost of traveling right now?
That sucks, but if you want to get out, you got to do it.
Americans are getting hit with vacation sticker shock. The travel site Hopper.com says the average price for a domestic flight is $353, up 39% from last year. And hotel rates are $160 a night, 20% higher than a year ago.
We found that about 6 in 10 Americans are planning summer vacations, but almost 70% of them are making some changes because of inflation.
Ted Rossman is with Bankrate. A new survey shows the most common changes include traveling a shorter distance, engaging in cheaper activities, and booking less expensive accommodations, which is what Maria Janoka chose to do.
We're not going to Florida because it was too expensive, so we're going to Texas because it was way cheaper.
Other vacationers are saving money by going camping. Many will head to a national park, and 28% of those surveyed are only planning a staycation. But Rossman says it can be rewarding.
Play tourist in your local area, maybe plan some day trips, some things that are fun and nearby, but you don't always get a chance to do.
Whether it's a short road trip or an international flight, travel experts say it's a good idea to plan and book now because rates are expected to stay high.
Now, the Bankrate survey also found only 33% of American workers who get paid vacation time plan to use all of it. Well, meantime, the U.S. is now one step closer to a COVID-19 vaccine for some of its youngest children. Thursday, Moderna filed for emergency use authorization for its vaccine in kids ages 6 to 5 years old. 6 months to 5 years old, I should say. And today, Mandy Gaither has more on the just released findings from the company's clinical vaccine trial in this age group.
We've submitted here in the United States.
It's the news many parents of young children have been waiting for. Moderna seeking sign-off from the Food and Drug Administration for its vaccine in young children. The company says clinical trials showed safe protection.
When we look at antibody levels, we wanted to see levels that were similar to what we found in young adults, those 18 to 24, and that's exactly what we found. So overall, I think this is a very reassuring result and good news.
Moderna says 2 25 microgram doses of its vaccine was 51% effective at preventing symptoms in children 6 months to 2 years old and 37% effective in kids ages 2 to 6. The company says those numbers are similar to the protection provided against Omicron in adults ages 18 to 25 who take 2 100 microgram doses.
They'll obviously do their very, very thorough review as they always do, but I think there is a general feeling to move fast.
This week, CDC data from an ongoing study of blood samples revealed as of February, roughly 3 in 4 U.S. children under the age of 18 had developed COVID-19 antibodies, indicating they'd been infected by the virus. But officials say vaccines are still critical. It's still unknown how long infection-reduced immunity will last.
You could have antibodies to a previous variant. That protection from those antibodies not necessarily as good as to a current variant.